This is Gospel 365 Podcast. Today, we have an inspiring and empowering message that I don't think you should keep it to yourself. So go ahead and share the link and invite a friend to join us on today's teaching. God bless you.
The theme for today's devotion is, what can you see? And we are reading our scripture from 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 18. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. In Genesis chapter 15, we read that the Lord gave his promise to Abraham that he, Abraham, would be the father of many nations. God promised him that his seed shall be numerous upon the earth, and the whole world would be blessed through him. However, Abraham, who then was still called Abram, argued and questioned the possibility of God's promise ever coming to pass, because he had no child. What wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless? And the steward of my house is this Eliezer of Damascus. Genesis chapter 15, verse 2. The Lord's response to him was so remarkable. He took Abraham outside in the night time and said, Look now toward heaven and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be. Genesis chapter 15, verse 5. The next verse tells us that Abraham believed, and the Lord accounted it to him for righteousness. Genesis chapter 15, verse 6. God helped his vision. He trained him on how to see rightly, how to use his sense of sight, spiritual sight. That is what we call seeing for realities. By taking him out in the night and asking him to number the stars, God engaged him spiritually on how to look beyond the optical realm and see with the eye of the Spirit. It is what we are called to do in Christianity. We look and see beyond what our mind and optical vision can perceive. We see with the eyes of faith. We are the seed of Abraham. Romans chapter 4 verse 16 calls Abraham, who is the father of faith, the father of us all. God already set the precedent with Abraham. You have to practice seeing realities. Consciously create time when all by yourself you use your spiritual sight. God has set eternity in your heart. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 11. You have been given an extraordinary capacity to contemplate, think, envision, and see. Use this powerful spiritual tool to dominate your world. There are no limits to the extent and capacity with which you can function. The extent to which you can see is the extent to which you can make real in your life. So today, what can you see?
If God is transforming your life through this podcast, join us in reaching out to others by partnering with us today. Thank you for listening to the host, Benjamin Osei Ofari, on Gospel 365 Podcast. And remember to subscribe to enjoy more messages. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at _Gospel365, or search us on all podcast platforms.